Back to the Turbo Rangers. The monster Bloom Booma was starting to show her resistance. You think one pot can stop me? You're terribly wrong, said Bloom Booma, who blasted the pot. Oh no, we failed, said Blue Turbo. Foolish ones, I don't need my pocket dimension to destroy you, said Bloom Booma. Now it's time to activate the bomb to destroy the city. No, no, said Red Turbo. Stop! As he saw the flowers being burned. Ha 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 ha, said Bloom Booma. Now it's too late. Your plans to stop us have been stopped, said Yamaru, laughing. When the timer goes off, I'll press this button and the whole city goes boom! Oh, there will be more than enough melon bombs, said Kirkia, laughing. No, we can't allow it, said Yellow Turbo as he fired some arrows, but to no success. Bloom Booma dissolved them all in her evil pollen. But to their surprise, Boken Blue arrived, spraying flowers everywhere, causing Bloom Booma to be weakened and all her melon bombs destroyed. All the people she had victimized were set free. Hey, we've got some miracle after all. Wait, the flower. It's blooming, said Pink Turbo. Maybe that's why it's the flower of hope, said Pink Turbo. Adios, said Boken Blue, who began to leave. Boken Blue finally entered the scene. Oh, my plans! I still have enough power to destroy you, said Bloom Booma. Finish them! Wallers, said Yamaru. Waller soldiers began to show up. The Turbo Rangers began to engage in the battle. Now it was time to deal with the monster. Curses! Now it's time to crush them, said Yamaru as he called for his dark spire to enlarge Bloom Booma. Okay, let's try the high-speed sword, suggested Black Turbo. The high-speed sword materialized in the hand of Turbo Robo, but the sword did no good either. I guess we'll only have one alternative, said Pink Turbo. We did it, said the Red Turbo and the others. Super Turbo Robo stood victorious as the battle of the day is done. Meanwhile, Tommy and his team are busy replanting some flowers that were destroyed. Well, Kimberly, I'm glad to be of help, said Tommy. Thanks, Tommy, said Kimberly. By the way, these are for you, said Tommy. Tommy gave Kimberly some sweet-smelling cherry blossom flowers. This reminds me of the time I got triggered by inner jealousy and when I came over it. Thanks a lot, said Kimberly. Hey, you're not here for a date, said Sota. We still need to plant the flowers before we leave. That's right, said Masumi, who was crushing some rocks to be used for the garden. The Turbo Rangers arrived at the scene where the heroes from the future are replanting the destroyed garden. They were getting help from the future. Thanks for all the help, said Riki Hono. Especially you, Tsubasa and Sota. We're just glad to be of help, said Sota. Well, the flowers did help you defeat the powerful monster after all, said Tsubasa. Oh, just plant some of them. We've gotten seeds already. Thanks, said Haruna. Well, Riki, what about the pot you gave to Haruna? You know, said Yoei. I don't think I can, said Riki Hono, blushing. Oh, I guess you can't forget about the votes about Haruna and you being a pair, can you, said Shinsuke. I don't think he can, said Daichi. Haruna couldn't move either, especially she was having some feelings for Riki Hono. Okay, let's help them replant the flowers and fix the garden, said Haruna. Thanks, said Kimberly. After an hour or two of work, finally the garden was fixed. Tommy and Kimberly admired their work. Masumi and Sota and Tsubasa took a picture of their whirl. It's already farewell, Riki, said Tommy. But before you go, I wish to challenge you to a short match, said Riki. Riki, Hono, and Tommy can be seen doing some of the moves similar to that of the classic demonstration of Retsu Ichiyochi and Den Aiga in Shararan. Both of them gave a respectful bow. I salute your strength, Tommy-san, said Riki Hono. Me too, Riki-san, said Tommy. Should I point out that Exuki once was under the impression that Tommy was inspired by Riki? I highly doubt Saban looked to older seasons for inspiration for its characters, and Master Org's design notwithstanding. But if there's anything this calls attention to, it's the fact that Bamba giving his Big One powers to Tommy in the Live Band chapters was completely fucking pointless! Mind you, I'm glad it was dropped, but I would rather these characters stand on their own and not be turned into something they're not. The heroes finally returned to the new Sky Base in the Sentai year 2011. Justin felt sad about losing his powers. Tommy approached him. Justin, don't be sad. In fact, I have already discussed one thing. You can have one of my 5 forms as your new form, said Tommy. Really? Asked Justin. Did you mention of that boy, the boy with the tiger mark, being the first child ranger in our world? You get to be his counterpart. I guess that's the meaning of the vision that you have too, said Tommy. Zordon entered the room and said, Well then, I guess I can do so. Tommy, you two come with me for now. It'll take some time before Justin becomes the new White Ranger. By the way, I did keep getting a visit from a kid in my dream, from some past era. I wonder who he is, but he was certainly telling me he was waiting for Justin. I guess now we know what's going to happen next, said Tommy. Justin was finally resting for a power transfer process. He was now receiving the same vision again from Ko. Justin, you will be my counterpart soon, said Ko. Really? But I'm past 10 already, said Justin. You were past 10 when you were introduced, goddammit. Justin, see you soon, said Ko. Meanwhile, the United Alliance of Evil headquarters, Radiguet was upset about the failures of Kyros and Shizuka. I guess maybe I think about demoting you both. I wanted you to defeat the heroes, but you can't. Also, I might have you do capturing Kimberly and Collector myself, said Radiguet. Radiguet released some deadly lightning to punch them both. He was now pleased for a while. Well, while you are both in pain, think of other plans to help me succeed, said Radiguet. Radiguet then poured some wine into his glass. Kimberly, you will be mine whether you like it or not. Love is a disgusting trait. All that matters is I will get you for myself, and so will every other gorgeous woman I see, said Radiguet, who found himself in a series of contradictions with Kimberly as he was so enamored by her beauty and tenacity. He was preparing for another sinister plan to attack her when she was at her most vulnerable, but he wanted to play around with her and observe her a little bit more. Later at the new Skybase greenhouse area, Chiharu was glad at the fact that the Hope flowers were back. She was happy to start replanting everything. She was with Tori and Yosuke Shina, who were bringing some garden soil. Thanks, Yosuke, Tori, said Chiharu. Don't mention it, said Yosuke Shina. Oh, Tori, since the flower gardens need some repair, what about let's go down to the park instead? I've secured permission, we can go. Sure, Yosuke. That'd be fun to see flowers at the park, said Tori, as they both walked away for a short while. Chiharu was with Sakura, Kimberly, and Jasmine, who were in charge of bringing plants for the punishment of Sosuke and Bon. So this is why it's a flower of hope as it blooms, and it was the last one that I had sacrificed. Oh, I wonder if Hoji is truly interested in me, or if it's just because I look like his ex-girlfriend Teresa, said Chiharu, in doubt, as she was also in doubt that Director Aya could be her mother, seeing there were some things in common with them. Like fucking what? You have a personality of, well, those plants you're planting. I think he really likes you, Chiharu, said Sakura with a smile. Oh, why not try planting jasmine flowers too, said Jasmine. Or some cherry blossoms. Sakura, I wonder when I can get in your head that Cole really likes you, said Jasmine in her mind. What's the matter, Jasmine, asked Sakura, who was looking at Jasmine spacing out. Nothing, said Jasmine with a goofy expression in her face. Well, I can tell she's trying to push Cole to me again. That expression has been there, said Sakura in her mind, who was still thinking about her true feelings as she was stuck in between two lovers. Kimberly, on the other hand, pretty disturbed about why Radiguet wanted her alive. Could it be that I'm targeted to be the new queen of the United Lands of Evil? Give me a break. I won't agree to be a bride of that lascious monster, I said Kimberly, who was admiring some of the flowers Tommy gave her. Chiharu was starting to remember the incidents which caused her another headache. A flashback could be seen of a younger Aya and her husband with their daughter. A ship was drowning, and as a young girl, she nearly died until she was rescued by a much younger Doggy Kruger. She saw herself awake with the Special Police Deca Ranger, who began to train her as one of their own. She had no memories as they were erased, but now they are starting to surface. Should I really tell Director Aya that I am her daughter? Asked Chiharu to herself. No, maybe I'm just suffering visions of my own past. It may not be true. But unknown to her, Bon was tasked to help her remember the past if it can be done. He was going to be responsible to bring her back. Sosuke and Ban were shifted from rock piles to gardening duty. They were fixing the garden and they broke. Their detention time was cut short, though, so they could be out in a matter of a week. It does pay off to take responsibilities for our own faults, said Sosuke. It does, Ban. Let's be careful not to be too careless next time, said Ban. Oh, sure, it was pretty worth it that our detention has been cut short, said Sosuke. Let's be more careful with racing, shall we? Sure, said Ban. The scene ends with them still working at the gardens. I think what bothers me the most about this chapter is the implications that are ultimately spelled out in Agzuki's blogs. Constantly, he would refer to the Turbo Rangers as the real teenagers with attitude. Like every other comparison Agzuki has made throughout this story and his blog post, I'm pretty sure the Turbo Rangers and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers being high schoolers was just a coincidence. I'm not sure why Turbo Ranger doing it a couple years early makes it any more real than MMPR. If he's making a crack about actors in their early 20s playing teenagers, Turbo Ranger is just as guilty of it as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Also, that term was only used in the theme song. This is the actual exchange between Zordon and Alpha in the show.
Teleport to us 5 overbearing and over-emotional humans.
No! Not that! Not teenagers!
That's correct, Alpha.
I was afraid of that.
Now, sadly, I have bad news and more bad news. Next week's chapter is the most derivative one in the entire story. It's no secret that Agzuki was, quote-unquote, inspired by Chris X's Super Sentai vs. Super Sentai stories, given all the story elements that he's stolen. And our next chapter is almost entirely taken from Chris X. You can tell because the villains take an interest in Hoji that they never had before and never will afterwards.